In Frederick County, people know the names, but not always the stories. This is the last of the Good Ole Boys, hosted by Blaine Young and Billy Shreve. Each episode, we sit down with the movers and shakers of Frederick to talk about the moments, the risks, and the values that shaped who they are today. No sound bites, no spin, just real stories from the people who helped build Frederick County. This is the last of the Good Ole Boys.
This episode is a proud production of the Everything Frederick Live Podcast Network. Your home for Frederick's best podcasts, streaming daily on YouTube.
Welcome to the last of the Good Ole Boys. I'm your host, Blaine Young, live every Wednesday at 6 p.m. And to my left is the one and only Billy Shreve in his podcast attire. Billy, how you doing? I actually wore black in honor of you.
I appreciate it. It's about time we're matching.
There you go.
I mean, Kelly and I coordinated this.
Yes. And our guest tonight, since he just referenced her, is Kelly Russell. Kelly, how you doing?
I'm doing very well, thanks. How are you?
Good.
It's good to be here.
Do you know what the last of the Good Ole Boys is, the podcast?
I do, sort of.
Okay. What do you think it is, out of curiosity?
Well, I believe that you and Billy talk to people in the community and give them the opportunity to sort of share how their lives have grown in Frederick and what their stories are.
Yep. So it's kind of like a little bit of biography with Barbara Walters, Brian Gumbel, a little bit of Geraldo. No, I'm just joking. But it's not a political
Barbara
podcast.
Walters.
It's not a political podcast. A lot of people started tuning in and thought they were going to get the old Blaine Young show on WFMD radio. And I said, nope, that's not what this is about. It's not what I'm doing. What I'm trying to do is there's a lot of people that have helped make Frederick what it is today. And that is a great place to live, the city and county. And there's a lot of people that will make it even greater into the future. So what we like to do is talk to those folks, but we don't really want to talk about their politics and issues. Sometimes it comes up, but that's not the intent. The intent is tell us your Frederick connection and tell us your life story and then how Frederick got interwoven into that. We've talked to people from Terrence Morris that is now living in Houston, but played basketball at TJ, then went on to University of Maryland. We've talked to Chuck Foreman, who played here, went on the Minnesota. So you don't necessarily have to still be here, but there's got to be a Frederick connection woven into your life somewhere. So we're going to start with where you were born, Kelly.
I was born at the George Washington University Hospital in Washington, D.C. on August 8th, 1959.
So you were born in the nation's capital. Is that where your parents lived also?
No, they lived in Rockville.
Okay.
And that's really where I was raised.
Okay, in Rockville?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then where'd you go to school? Like, let's start elementary?
Georgetown Hill Elementary School, then Ritchie Park Elementary School, and then...
Where were they?
So the sort of the south end of Rockville. Georgetown Hill was on Seven Locks Road.
Is it still around?
It is. It's not a public school anymore.
Okay.
And then they built Ritchie Park, which is on Dunster, right off Falls Road. I lived in Potomac Woods. It's a development down there. And then I went to Robert Frost Junior High School and Thomas S. Wooten High School.
Okay.
Thomas S. Wooten, spoken like a true Wooten graduate.
So who were your parents? I mean, like, who were they? What did they do?
Margaret and JP.
Yeah.
So my father was actually born in Greece. He was an immigrant.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He was from Athens and served in the Greek Navy for a couple of years and kind of traveled the world, lived in Africa, ended up coming to the United States.
Wow.
Enlisted in the Army to get
In the
his
U.S. Army.
citizenship. Mhm.
Okay.
He served in the OSS for a little bit, which is pretty cool.
But back
yeah.
up, so he could get citizenship because if he enlisted and served in the United States military.
I'm not sure exactly how it worked,
Okay.
but yes, one
There
led
was some
to the
type
other.
of pathway?
One led to the other. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So he was working in Washington. My mother was from a small town called Spencer in West Virginia. She had moved to Washington because she wanted to be part of the big city and, some experience. And so she was working, I think, for Pan American Airlines.
Okay.
My dad was working, I think he was a civilian by then, but he got on the same bus with my mother and his best friend, George. And he had commented that he thought she was cute. So George gave her my father's phone number.
Okay.
And they got married.
So
There was no cell phones. That had to be the old rotaries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where is Spencer, West Virginia?
So Spencer is close to Charleston on the Ohio sort of down.
Yeah,
into
the
down
capital,
into the
Charleston,
left.
not Charlestown.
Correct.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, so on that side.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a hike. That's like 5 hours from DC or something, 4 or something.
Back when I was a kid, before
Oh,
that highway was built across,
Two-day
over
trip.
the mountains, it was a good 9 or 10 hour trek.
my gosh. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
So what was your childhood like? I mean, it was brothers, sisters. What did you do? What were your hobbies? All that kind of stuff.
I had an older sister, 5 years difference, so we didn't really spend a lot of time together. But I had a pretty idyllic childhood. I grew up in a suburban neighborhood. We were allowed to ride our bikes anywhere, come back when the streetlights come on, kind of thing. I lived in the Potomac Woods. There was a huge park there, so we would just kind of disappear into the woods and do our thing all day long.
So is that where your passion for bike riding started?
That's a great question. I remember getting my first bicycle. I had a banana seat and butterfly handlebars.
Oh yeah. Did you play any sports or anything in high school, or what was your interest?
No, I was a theater and choir kid.
Oh, theater. Okay.
Yeah. So not acting. I was stage crew.
Okay.
Mr. Brodsky said I wasn't any good at acting, but I did choir, madrigals, that kind of thing. I don't sing anymore, but I used to could.
Nice. That's cool.
So you graduated from high school, and what was the next life decision you made?
Ooh, okay, so this is where it kind of goes a little sideways.
And we got a bunch of pictures. So what we're going to do is Douglas is going to put those up, and we're just going to show them out through the podcast. So we're not going to reference them, but we'll show them, and we'll get through that as we talk about your life. But so you get out of high school, and what's your
got out of high school, and everybody was going to college, and so that was kind of the thing to do. By then, my parents had divorced, my sister had left, so I was kind of a latchkey kid. Didn't get a lot of guidance on what I should be doing, other than everybody goes to college. So I chose Shepherd because it was close enough but far enough away.
How old were you right there, by the way?
It was the very first Earth Day, so whatever year that was, I was probably 12.
Okay.
Very, very fancy outfit there. Yeah.
Nice neighborhood.
That's
Streets are clean. Everything's
yeah, that's the city of Rockville right there.
Everything's mowed.
Yeah.
So you go to Shepherd College.
So I went to Shepherd. My first major was nursing because I knew what a nurse was. I didn't really know that. I mean, I had no counseling, right? So I'm like, nurse is a thing. It took me about 6 weeks and the first hospital patient for me to understand that was not going to be my career.
Where did you actually go to hospital?
Yeah, Martinsburg, I think it was. Yeah. All I had to do was change the sheets for this poor woman.
That's it.
I just freaked out. I was like, I can't work in a hospital.
Yeah. You just knew right away that wasn't it. Yeah.
So I struggled through about 2 years at Shepherd, changing majors on several occasions, and thought, well, maybe if I transferred to Maryland, where it's bigger and I would do better, and that didn't work out so well. So I did get a chance to sing with the University of Maryland chorus. That was great. But
wow, that's huge.
After a year, I just quit school.
So basically, you did 2 years at Shepherd, a year at University of Maryland. You said, it's not for me.
Now, if you look at my transcripts, you would understand.
Okay.
Why.
Fair.
Terrible.
Fair.
Yeah.
So
I did not have a lot of guidance. So at that point, I could not go back home, and I didn't have a home. So I just kind of bummed around in Bethesda. I had a job there, a couple of different jobs.
What do you mean you didn't have a home?
I did not have a home. I did not go home to live with my mother, and I didn't have a home.
Okay. I didn't know if maybe she moved away or something like that. Okay.
So you had to find you
had to figure it out, basically.
I had to figure it out.
Okay.
Yeah. So I spent about 6 months without permanent housing.
Okay. Would you have
kind of leads to one of those pictures? But
would you have termed yourself homeless, or how would you have? No, I'm just saying because I think there's a big there's people that move around, and then there's people that are truly displaced.
Well, this was 1980, and we didn't talk about like the homeless population or people that didn't have permanent housing or unhoused populations. I just was like, I didn't have a place to live, and I kind of figured out where I couch surfed. I slept in empty offices.
Okay.
Wherever I could.
Okay. Yeah. So there was an uncertainty every night of whether or not you were going to have a place to sleep. You had to figure it out.
Yeah.
Wow. What was that like? I mean, that's got to be a heck of a feeling. I mean, I'm just saying I'm blessed. I've never, I don't think people really know what it is to go through something like that and not know exactly where I'm going to call home tonight. And then, of course, I'm sure everything you have is everything you have.
I had left home with a pair of cutoff jeans, a backpack, and a couple of T-shirts, and a really good pair of wool socks.
Wow.
Because that's very important when you're walking everywhere, and that's all you have. So, I figured that out. I ended up getting a job as a security guard. They were building the Naval Hospital in Bethesda. So not the tower building, because that at the time that was vacant. They were building the hospital that exists now. That's to me the new hospital.
Yeah.
So my job was to just do rounds in all of those buildings. So I've been in every single room in all of those buildings.
That's a huge building.
But it was fortuitous because I got a uniform, so I had clean clothes, and I had places to sort of sneak and stay.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
And how long did you do that for?
That was until the fall of 1980, and I had met some Navy guys. They were, obviously I was working at the Naval Hospital. They were corpsmen. They had a house down on Briarley Drive off of Jones Bridge Road. And there were 4 of them living there. And they said, if you can scrape up $100 a month, you can come and live in the house. And that's what happened. And so for 2 years, I lived in a house with these guys.
What?
They were all friends.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying, you got the full gamut from figuring out where you're going to stay,
to a house full of,
Yeah.
So, we took
some high testosterone military people.
Well, not really, because they were, medical corpsmen.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they were a little subdued.
They were nice guys.
Okay.
Wonderful people. And they were like big brothers to me. They were a little bit older. And they sort of helped me get back on my feet.
Still know them? Like, you still know where they're at or communicate with them?
I do not. Well, one has passed away. I do know that. One I have communicated with over the last many, many years, every once in a while on our birthdays.
Cool.
That's great.
Yeah.
So then where do we go from there? You're there for 2 years. You got some stable employment. You got a place to call home.
So I was working that security job, saving up some money, and I got a part-time job. I was trying to figure out what to do with my life.
Sure.
Right. So I got a part-time job also as a tow truck dispatcher.
Really?
Cool.
At Getty's Texaco on Rockville Pike.
Okay.
And one of there were 2 towing companies there, and one of the towing company owners was a guy named Mike Kaiser. He was a Rockville City cop. He had started in Frederick, because that was where he was from. And we started talking about the possibilities of a career. And I had also talked to some folks while I was working security. And I thought, this might be a path for me. And I applied to Rockville, and they took a look at my transcripts, et cetera, and said, maybe it's time to go back to school and get yourself together. So I enrolled at Montgomery College, took law enforcement classes. Took me a while to get the AA after I was working, but applied. And then
how old are you at this point?
I was 22, 20.
Okay. So you're not that old.
No, it's a baby.
Yeah.
And Mike said, well, why don't you apply in Frederick? I was like, why would I apply in Frederick? I don't, to us in Rockville, Frederick was in the hinterlands, and we didn't. Yeah.
It was far away at that time.
It was Western Maryland, even though it's central.
Was 270 built at that time? Or?
Yeah, it was 70S. It was called 70S. Okay. And so Mike said, well, let me take you to Frederick and show you around and see what you think. So he brought me up to Frederick. We went downtown. I fell in love with the place. We went to Wags.
Yeah.
It took me a year after I moved here to find it again.
Really?
Yeah. Because it was
hard to find.
I couldn't remember what it was called. And I was like, I know it's down.
Yeah.
That's all I know.
But everything was down.
Everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's, true that.
Yeah.
And so I applied for the academy, and the timing was right, and I got through all the testing and got accepted to the 25th Police Academy in 1983.
So who was the chief then? Was it Dick Ashton?
Yes.
Yep. So in 1983, you're how old?
23. Turned 24.
So you became a police officer. How many female police officers did the city of Frederick have at that point?
On the department, there were just a few. I was actually the 11th female ever hired. Alice Moore, of course, was the first in 1972.
Yeah. Well, guess what?
What?
You're the first on the last of the Good Ole Boys.
I know.
I just thought about it. You're the first female guest we've had.
I was going to bring that up and ask you.
Well, I just thought about it, and I'm like, you know what? I don't think we've had a female, which I don't know why, but we need to rectify that.
Yes, you do.
We've had a lot of diversity, but we've got to have some gender diversity.
Mm-hmm.
So you become a police officer here in the city of Frederick.
Yes, sir.
What was that like? Because again, even though you're the 11th, it's still got it. What was maybe the department? 60, 70?
Yeah, 65, I think.
Yeah.
Well, where was the academy at that time? And
had to be off Linganore Road.
The academy actually was. Well, for me, the academy was in the headquarters building because they had just moved from 731 North Market the year before I got there. Okay. So upstairs, where the squad room was, that was where the academy classroom was.
Wow. Mm-hmm. So everything was right there.
And the Linganore, that was just a block building that we basically used for firearms training. It was no insulation, no heating, no air conditioning, no nothing.
That's wow. So were you in the headquarters of 731 at all?
No.
That was going.
I know.
I remember that as a kid.
I know. I missed it by that much.
It was and the big old LTDs pulling out of there, and there was where that laundromat was a grocery store. Well, I call it a grocery store. Today we call it a convenience store, but it had the fresh fruit out front and all those type of things.
Out on the sidewalk.
Yeah, I mean it was what we would call a neighborhood grocery store. Today we would say it's a convenience store, but yeah. So
how long was the academy at that point?
Well, it's about 7 months.
So it's still long, like today's academies.
Yeah, it's very long. Yes, Frederick has always gone above and beyond what the state standards were. So yeah, at the time I was commuting from Silver Spring.
Okay.
And I had to be there it started at 8, so you had to be there at 7. So I was leaving pretty early in the morning.
Yeah.
Any other females in the academy with you in your academy class?
Yeah, there were 6 people in my class, 5 guys and me.
Who were the other 5? Do you remember?
Yeah, of course I remember. I don't remember if that was one of the pictures I sent you or not. So Bill Burton, Danny Akel, Cliff Slick, a guy named it just slipped my mind because you asked me to.
That's all right.
Carl Miller or Carl something Johnson. Carl Johnson. Oh my gosh!
We'll get to it.
No, I can see the picture.
Yeah.
Well, Douglas, put the picture up there.
Mike Schmidt. Okay,
never mind. So when you went in and put your application in, who did you interview in front of? And what type? I mean, I'm assuming, was it still a physical test and also a written test before you got accepted?
You had a physical agility test.
Yeah.
There was a written general knowledge test. Of course, you had a background investigation done. There was...
and what was that like with the background? Did it have to be spotless, or what were they?
Clearly not. I mean,
no, I know. I didn't mean that. I'm just saying
no.
I think it's changed over time, is what I'm saying.
Well, I mean, and this one of the things I ended up doing was the hiring towards the end of my career. Yeah. Basically, it's just a matter of. The key thing I'll tell people is always tell the truth. Whatever you have done, it's not going to be as bad as you think it is. It's probably not going to disqualify you. Now, the state has certain things that are just automatic disqualifiers, and those have changed over the years.
Yeah.
But yeah, they asked your previous employers and your neighbors and your people that know you about your background, and they check your records and all that good stuff.
So you got your badge in 83 or your badge in 84?
November 83.
Okay, so. You got your badge.
Got my badge. I was going to say I got my gun, but I didn't because for the women, our Class A dress uniform, which is what I graduated in, did not have a gun belt.
Really?
And so we were issued purses that were made by Buckheimer Leather. You remember
right
in Frederick,
Buckheimer? Airport.
Like a black leather box with a holster in it that when you were in your dress uniform, you had a purse. And the uniform had a skirt.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
I did not remember that.
Yes.
Yeah.
We have that picture.
I did not know that
Let's
it
get
had
the picture
the,
up with the uniforms.
the purse with the gun in it. So that's when she's an alderman there,
Yeah, that's
getting sworn in.
Yep. That's my graduation. I was the graduation speaker. That is in the boardroom at the old City Hall on North Market Street. So that's the back dining room of Brewers Alley.
Yeah. Let's see. Go to the next one. Is that all we have?
Still, Brewers Alley was still City Hall
Oh, yeah.
in the 80s. Okay, I didn't know.
Until
all that
89.
changed.
Yeah. Now that's me and my Lieutenant Bob Hargis,
Yeah.
who you know very well.
Oh,
We
yeah.
were walking around a football game at Frederick High School.
Yeah.
We used to get hired off duty to work football, basketball games, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of off-duty work.
Yeah, no, Brewers Alley, it didn't become City Hall until 89. I mean, 80, they moved to the new City Hall in 89.
89.
Okay.
Because Paul Gordon actually was elected, and first term he served in the new City Hall.
New one.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
The old courthouse.
yeah. So what was it like? I mean, you're 24,
Yeah.
sworn police officer,
Yeah.
skirt and gun. No, I'm joking.
Well, the skirt was for dress uniform.
I know, I'm
only.
joking.
So, I mean, it was an amazing career. I mean, I'll say generally speaking, there were some difficulties, obviously, as a young female in a very male-dominated world, and it took a while to sort of establish myself and prove that
So
I
what
was
were they?
serious. What
Just give us some examples of like where either you're running up against a brick wall, or you had somebody that was, hey, you can't do this, you're a female, or
Sure. Well, I had a lieutenant that locked me in a holding cell.
what?
And beat on the door because he didn't think girls should have guns.
Oh my gosh.
He's long since left the earth.
Uh-huh.
I won't mention who it was. I had occasions where there was a district court commissioner who would say, women shouldn't have guns, and when you go to get your coffee, I take cream and sugar.
Oh my gosh.
That kind of stuff.
Really?
So
It's just really bad back then.
and when I was a field training officer, and so I would have a younger officer with me on a stop, and they would always talk to that officer and not me. Mm-hmm. So it was interesting. I have no regrets because it's made me the person that I am today.
So who were the good guys?
The good guys.
No, I mean the ones that were like, it was no big deal, you're one of us.
I think
Supported you.
Yeah.
Lieutenant Hargis was obviously a mentor to me. Harold Domer was a mentor to me. That's, I think, where you and I started working together.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the folks, once you sort of showed that you had the chops and you were willing to jump in and help, then it was pretty much okay. Now it was interesting too, because having few women on the department, it was an interesting dynamic because women can be either very supportive of each other or not so much. So
Right.
Very jealous.
yeah, it was
Or
a
envious.
good experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what was your first big arrest? What I mean is where you found yourself, hey, I got to take this person down and cuff them, that type of thing, where you obviously the person's not cooperative is what I mean.
I don't remember the first one. I'll tell you one that was memorable. How's that?
Sure.
Okay, so Sergeant Travis had made a traffic stop on South Street near West All Saints Street, and I went to back him up. And there was a passenger in the car, and he had I remember this vividly, it was a first aid kit box, right? And he was very nervous, and he was holding this box, and he was real fidgety. And I'm looking at Trav, and I'm like, this guy's going to run. He's going to run. And next thing you know, he's out the door. Mm-hmm. Takes off down Ice Street towards West All Saints Street, goes up behind where the Habitat Project is now. It was a
funeral home?
Or if it was
Yeah, it was
a flower
Rollins.
store.
Well, I don't know if it was Rollins then, but it was
yeah.
at some
But
point.
back in that parking lot.
Yes.
And I ended up tackling the guy and there was it was summer night, like there was a whole crowd out
You
there.
not only called
like,
him, but you tackled him.
I caught him, tackled him, I get him cuffed.
Everybody's out on the street
Everybody's
watching.
watching and cheering, and it ended up he had a whole bunch of PCP and stuff in that first
Oh
aid
my
box.
gosh. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's kind of a glory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was there ever situations where you got yourself into, you're like, I really got to pick my words here until backup comes? You know what I mean? Like you find yourself, hey, this thing could go either way. I've got to, because sometimes you got to play with people
by yourself.
Verbal, I guess they call it verbal judo. And
that's an old technique.
Yeah.
I mean, I've always said the best weapon you can have as a police officer is your brain and your mouth, not your weaponry, really. Mm-hmm. I do remember one time I had stopped a car for a DUI. It was a big truck and in front of Lincoln Elementary School. The guy got out and he was about 6'5", like 300 and some pounds. I mean, a big dude. I'm there by myself. There's no backup. I run him through field sobriety tests. He fails miserably. And I'm thinking, this guy could just crush me like a bug.
Mm-hmm.
I said, sir, I'm going to have to place you under arrest. And he turned around and put his hands behind his back.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
you.
Yeah. That's great.
So when did
He
you
had a lot of respect for you.
Or he just didn't want to make the situation a lot worse.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
So when did you make corporal?
I never did because we did not have the corporal.
Wow. So you went straight to
I
sergeant.
went straight to sergeant in 1988.
Okay.
That was a real challenge because
So wait a minute. You went to sergeant. How long were you?
4 years. 4.5 years.
5. Yeah.
Five?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's great.
It was pretty quick.
Yeah, absolutely. That's huge.
I learned a lot of lessons,
Mm-hmm.
making that big jump that quick, not having any understanding or really leadership training at that point. So I had to sort of adjust my style.
So how did the job change from being on the street to being in that new role? What were the differences?
Well, when I got promoted to sergeant, I was transferred to the Staff Traffic Bureau, is what they called it. And so I was the assistant supervisor of the Special Operations Division. Harold was the supervisor. I was assistant.
I guess he was lieutenant at the time.
He was a lieutenant. I was a sergeant. We had 4 canine officers and 4 traffic officers together, and we paired with a canine. So I was paired mostly with Sean Martiak.
Mm-hmm.
So my job was to supervise that unit, but also to go out and enforce traffic laws.
Okay.
So
Is that you when you're holding the speed gun? Is that what you mean? Or speed?
So that actually was a request from Lee Radcliffe they used to have a tennis speed service competition. And so that was me with the old K-15. They asked me to go out and I sat and ran radar and clocked tennis balls.
Yeah.
That's cool. What a great idea for a contest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of fun.
I think the winning serve was about 103.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah, it was.
That's rolling.
Mm-hmm.
So how long were you at sergeant for?
I was a sergeant until 1996. So let's do the math. 8 years.
8 years.
Yeah.
And then you took the jump to lieutenant.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And both of those ranks, you have to test for it. So there's a process.
There's a test and a list, right?
Yeah. I mean, you have interviewed, you have a written test, and then they put out a list.
So, and what you mean by that list is it's ranked by how well the participants did,
right.
And then the one that gets the first shot,
right?
Yeah,
Exactly.
if you want the job.
And the list is good for a period of time,
Correct.
and as vacancies come, you work your way down the list.
Yep.
Usually, it's good for about 2 years, and then you retest because you have new people to step into leadership. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And you can look who's in front of you. Sometimes that list is going to turn over quick, and sometimes you better be ready to retest because you're going to be on that list for a while.
That's right.
That's the way it kind of works. So
what was the new job?
when you went to lieutenant?
When I was lieutenant, I get transferred to human resources.
Straight, So you were straight to human resources?
Straight to human resources. So I remember being called into Chief Raffensperger's office at the time.
Okay, so you went through Dick Ashton. Well, first let's back up. So you were under Dick Ashton until, what would that have been, 90?
Boy, you're going to have to do the years.
94. So Gordon would have been elected in 89. He would have been in 93. Grimes came in 93. So Raffensperger would have been somewhere.
I think.
No, Raffensperger came in under Gordon, didn't he?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, so it had to be somewhere between 89 and 93 that Chief Raffensperger came in after Chief Ashton.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you were very familiar with Chief Ashton, right?
Sure.
No, I'm just saying is you serve. I mean, how many different chiefs did you serve under? 3?
Well, Chief Ashton, Raffensperger, acting chiefs. We had Harold Dummer.
Twice.
Okay, I can't remember that, but I believe you.
Yeah.
Yeah, more mayors than chiefs. I served under more mayors than chiefs.
Well, let's take a quick break. Our guest is Kelly Russell. You're listening to the last of the Good Ole Boys, and we'll come back with more after these short messages.
Sponsored by Taco Bar in Frederick and Gaithersburg and Taquito in Hagerstown. Taco Bar is in West Point Plaza off Route 40 in Frederick and at 3 Russell Avenue in Gaithersburg. And Taquito is at 812 Frederick Street in Hagerstown. Taquito offers the same great quality food with a drive-through experience. TacoBar1.com or Taquito by TacoBar.com. Sponsored by Intense Barbecue. Family-owned barbecue food truck and catering company cooking in small batches to ensure that the food is the freshest it can be. Intense Barbecue can cater your events and they do any kind of food. It doesn't have to be barbecue. Find them at SEBBQ.com and satisfy your meat tooth.
Welcome back to the last of Good Ole Boys. I'm your host, Blaine Young. To my left is Billy Shreve. Our guest to my right is Kelly Russell. And we were just talking about when she became lieutenant and some of the mayors and chiefs of police that you served under. So you were under Chief Ashton for a while. Then you had Chief Raffensperger. Harold Domer was acting chief for a bit, and then Chief Dine. So that would be all your chiefs.
Yes.
Let's talk a little bit about what you did as lieutenant before we get back to the chiefs and various mayors.
Okay. I remember vividly being called into Chief Raffensperger's office, and he sat me down and said, "Congratulations, you're going to be promoted to lieutenant, and I've decided that I'm going to put you in charge of human resources." And my stomach dropped because I knew nothing
About
literally
HR.
about HR. And I said, "Yes, sir, that's great." And I went home and freaked out.
Yeah, what do I do now?
Yeah. But
And a lot of people don't know that in the city, and I believe I'm not sure if it's the same in the county, I can't remember, but in the city, the police department had their own HR, and the civilian employees had their own, public works and whatnot, general service employees, whatever you want to call them, had their own HR. At the county, I believe that at the county, it was all run through Mitch Hose, and there was just one. But so you had HR, you were in charge of all police matters.
Police hiring, personnel matters, all of that good stuff. Now I did work very.
Who'd you take over for? Who was there before?
Lieutenant Barb Domer.
Oh,
really?
wow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
So,
And she went to captain, I'm assuming, at that point.
no, I think she went to CID.
Okay.
No, we've never had a female captain.
I thought she was.
Yes.
I thought for sure she made captain at the end.
Not yet.
Okay.
Not at that
Now-
time.
Not at that time. Yeah, no.
Okay.
The FPD has never, not
Period.
yet, had a female captain.
Yeah.
They will, I'm quite sure, because I see some rising stars on
Okay.
that agency right now.
So you're in charge of HR. What was that?
Yeah,
like?
so I ran the hiring processes basically, and managed the background investigators, and ran all the testing. Like I had to schedule my very first class of applicants that I ran through, because we hadn't had an academy for a year, was like 1,200 applicants. Had to
Oh
run
my
a
gosh.
physical agility written test, background. They get a health examination, polygraph test, all that good stuff.
So you come.
1,200.
Yeah, it was. Now,
a lot.
you don't do any of these things by yourself. I clearly had help from like training staff and other volunteer officers and stuff. So when we put these massive things together, everybody had a job.
Yeah, but that's your first assignment.
Gotta weed them out. You gotta figure out the good ones from the
did
bad
well.
ones.
You
You
know,
did well.
you take what's given.
So you came on the force. There was probably 60, 65 officers. At this point in time, how many, what was the strength of force then? About 110, 115, I'm assuming?
Wow, that's a great question. I used to know all these numbers off the top of my head, Blaine, but my my memory ain't what it used to be.
No problem. But I'm assuming it was probably close to double.
Yeah, 90, 100, something like that. Yeah. But I was in there for 9 years, so obviously we grew over time.
You were in human resources for 9 years.
9 years until I retired.
Okay.
And I came to love it. I loved it. I'm a recruiter by heart.
Right. Absolutely.
You know, so, and I still recruit people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So how many total years did you do on the police force?
22. 22 years as a police officer.
As a police officer. And so was you then later served under Chief Dine. How long were you with Chief Dine?
Yeah. Well, he came, so I was there. He was there in 2000, I think.
Okay.
So I worked for him for about 4 years.
4 years?
Yeah.
Did you have I won't say favorite chief. I mean, what was there? Obviously Chief Ashton was probably the longest, right? 22 years. I mean, if you were on 83, no, I guess he was there about 6 or 7 years. So probably Raffensperger was the longest.
Probably. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you know, they just get better over time.
Okay. Different styles.
Very different styles.
Very different.
I worked very much more closely with Chief Dine because of the position that I was in. I worked, So
let's talk about that for a second. So when a police chief came in, did things change dramatically, or when a mayor came in, did things change dramatically, or are the police kind of left alone to do their job?
Let's give some background first, too, Kelly. Dick Ashton was handpicked by Charlie Main. Actually, that was not who they wanted. I can't remember the guy's name, but he was a major or a colonel out of the state of Indiana, I believe.
Ashton was?
No.
Oh, the guy they wanted. Well,
I can tell you exactly the story. A guy named Mayor Ronald Young came in, and
who's that?
Yeah, they had determined it was time for Charlie Main to retire. I believe there was even a law enacted. I can't remember how, but somehow he had no choice but to retire. So he retired. And then there was going to do this national search, and the hand-picked successor Charlie Main had was Dick Ashton, who I believe him and Mossberg were inspectors. Both held the title of inspector. And the vote came down to 3-2, and they kind of went with Charlie Main, and Dick Ashton was chief, which at the time, the state of Maryland had the youngest mayor and the youngest chief of police in the state. So then you go to Ray Raffensperger, who was a Baltimore guy. And he was brought in from the outside. And then Kim Dine, I believe, was a Washington, D.C. guy, right? So, was there, I guess to Billy's questions, from a hometown guy to a Baltimore guy to a D.C. guy, how much change does the department really see when a chief like that comes in and takes over?
Well, I will tell you that it depends on the chief. Just like anybody that comes into a leadership position, some people come in and they want to take time and observe and see how things work and see who the informal leaders are and all that. And then some people want to come in and slam their fist and say, "We're just going to do it my way because my way is a better way." And I would have to say that Chief Raffensperger did come in with a bit of a lean towards Baltimore being a more professional police agency than he thought Frederick was. And so there were a lot of changes. The traffic bureau was dissolved at that point, and that's one of the reasons I got transferred to some other positions. But he was very much a change maker and brought in people with him to help make that change. Chief Dine, I would say, is much more sort of laid back and measured and watch and see approach and that the kind of change that he implemented was cultural and over time making the agency much more of a community agency and community oriented than we're going to police at you. No, we're going to police with you.
Yeah. Right? And Kim Dine came by himself, I believe, correct? He didn't bring Ray Raffensperger. I'm trying to remember. Jim Durner. That was his name.
Yes.
Who was brought in as, I guess, what was called a lateral and was made a captain immediately.
He was a captain. Yeah, he was brought in as a captain. It caused a lot of
Correct.
consternation because, here you have folks that have been working their whole careers.
Talk about that list.
Yeah. So that was difficult, and he was my supervisor when I was in HR.
Wow.
And then he'd also brought Jesse Good
That's right.
and Joe
Correct. The big guy. I remember.
Kundrat.
Yes.
Joe Kundrat.
Yep.
And Ed Black.
Yep.
Those three guys came.
So, I believe all three are still living, right? I know
Sorry?
Dick Ashton's living, and I know
Yes.
Kim Dine's
Oh,
living, because all you got to
geez,
do is see him walking around. But I asked someone the other day, Ray Raffensperger's still living, isn't he?
I don't know anything to the contrary.
Yeah. That's why I forget who I asked. I assume he was. I haven't heard from him in a long time. He lived in Whittier. I don't know where he's at now.
I think they
but-
sold that house, but I don't know.
So then you decide to leave the police force.
Decided to take my retirement of 22 years because I was tired and burned out from HR. And the next move for me would have been either a transfer back to patrol as the patrol commander, which I really didn't want to do after all that time.
But did you want to be captain?
Or captain.
Yeah.
And I really did not feel equipped.
Okay.
And I
was
think
the opportunity there?
probably.
Okay.
No, the captain is chosen by the chief. The
I agree.
captain,
I agree.
right?
So appointment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
And I believe you and Chief Dine got along very well, right?
we still do. We
Well,
were just chatting yesterday.
Yeah.
That's
So I think what I'm just saying is,
Yeah,
I mean, obviously I understand there's a process, but I think the opportunity was there.
The opportunity may have been there. I just didn't think that I would have been the best choice for that. So I decided to step down.
And then what?
Then fortuitously, I got I did nothing for about a year and a half.
Okay.
And then I took a part-time job back with the police department, the special vehicle coordinator, which is, you and I had been doing some work before that anyway. But so it's basically regulating taxi cabs and horse-drawn carriages.
anything
special
that moves
vehicle.
on the streets of Frederick.
Sure.
And moves or doesn't move.
Really?
Well, abandoned vehicles,
Oh, okay.
stuff like that. Yeah. So I
Okay.
did that for 3 years.
Is it like a contractor?
No, it's a part-time position
Okay, with the police.
with the
department.
police department. Yeah.
Okay, great.
Did you ever think the taxi cab industry would change the way it did? I mean, I saw it coming. That's why I got out when I went to a conference, but
Yeah.
I don't think people ever saw that paradigm shift coming.
No.
Yeah.
When I went to a conference and they rolled out this thing and said, hey guys, there's this new thing and it's an app on your phone. It's going to help you with dispatch. And I looked at that and I'm like, this is the end. And I went back. I remember told Jerry Wood, he was like, oh, I've been through it all. And I said,
Not
I went
this.
back to the next conference and all the black car guys were like, hey, this is the problem. And we actually had the cabs on Uber for a little while because they built it for that industry, but the industry rebuffed them and they figured out how to do it a different way. And that was the end.
Yeah. Well, we do still have some taxi cab drivers that are independent license holders, but it's definitely
Not many.
a waning.
I mean, it used to be a fighter won them permits when
Yes,
they came
you
out.
did.
It was a
We
big
had a
deal.
lottery. We had a lottery.
Yeah. So when did you decide, hey, I'm going to run for the Board of Aldermen?
I blame my dear friend Jean O'Connor. May she rest in peace. Jean was a dear friend of mine, and when I was doing a lot of nothing after retirement, the city had done a comprehensive rezoning. So that occurs every 10 or so years. And they had rezoned some of the older established neighborhoods. They had changed the zoning from, use technical terms, it was R4, and they changed to R8, which means old neighborhoods like Monocacy Village or College Park, where I live near Hood College, or the houses on like a Villa Estates, could have changed drastically due to the opening up of the zoning and would allow for tear downs, McMansions, or townhouses, or even apartment buildings. And
They're buying it for the land, not the house. Tear the house down, I'll build a better house.
Yeah. So Jean was she was very upset about this, and she got the neighborhood together and she started a petition drive, and she recruited me to be part of this petition drive. And so we got signatures. We talked with City Hall. Jennifer Doherty was mayor at the time. And we asked to have a meeting, and they came over to Schley Park, and there were about 100 residents at that meeting, and we explained the problem and ended up getting a brand new zoning classification for about 12 different neighborhoods, R6, which would preserve the character of those neighborhoods. And so that was one of those things where it's like, well, you can fight City Hall.
Yeah.
Right.
And it was kind of a victory for the neighborhood. And over the
That's a
next
huge
couple
victory.
of years, there were a couple of more issues like that were zoning and land use issues that I got involved in. And I thought, well, maybe I just should get on the inside of this thing and work from there.
So you run for alderman.
Had you been on the planning commission at that point?
No.
Okay. So that was your first introduction to land use.
Yes.
Okay.
Well,
great.
It reviewing it like that. Yeah. I mean, I
Yeah,
was starting
from
to
that
learn
angle.
about issues, but yeah.
So what was that campaign like? And I mean, because you served 3 terms as alderman, right? 4? Holy cow, you served 4
Yeah.
terms. Wow.
4.
Man, you lose track of time. Wow.
Yeah. So yeah,
And it was 4 consecutive, right?
4 consecutive. Yeah.
So who was your first mayor
My
that you served under
was
as alderman?
Randy McClement.
Randy McClement.
So we all came in green. None of us had political experience. So it was, except, well, I'll say Carol Krim, because she'd worked for the state.
Yeah.
Karen Young, me, Shelley Alloy, and Michael O'Connor. Michael Alloy. We were the board of aldermen, and Randy was the mayor. Yeah.
If you remember, Randy, everyone was kind of surprised because he ran for alderman and lost, and turned around and won for mayor and won.
And won. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then your second term?
Second term was Randy.
Okay. And what was that like serving under, I guess, I mean, you're still in the majority because you're on the alderman. Most of them are the same political philosophy
Right.
and party, Republican mayor. But it seemed like to me, Randy was a pretty easy guy to get along with unless there was something behind the scenes.
Back during those days, there was much less partisanship, I think, and we were much less engaged in the sort of social issues of today. So it didn't really arise. The political differences and the party differences didn't really arise, and we all worked very well together. I think the key is cooperation and conversation.
Yeah. I think that's a good point. And I've never heard it explained that way. Like the politics of today is based on social issues, and that kind of rises to the top, and kind of people don't get along because of that.
Well, I've always said from day one, the city of Frederick should not be a partisan election. Now, saying that, I don't think the Democratic Party will ever want to give it up because it wouldn't be smart for them to do so. But I believe even Brunswick's nonpartisan now, right?
I think
Are they still
Frederick
partisan?
and Annapolis, I think, were the only 2 standing in Maryland that still have partisan elections.
And, but again, I was saying it way back when Joe Baldy was an alderman. Him and I were agreeing on that, where it was still Republicans, it wasn't as lopsided as it is today in the voter registration.
I mean, I remember when you were an alderman, you were a Democrat.
That's correct.
Yeah.
I was chairman of the Democratic Party for 4 years too.
I remember that.
That I didn't remember.
Yeah. So then you were under Mayor Michael O'Connor 2 terms, right?
Yes.
Now you and him were close as alderman, right?
Yes, we shared an office for 8 years,
Yeah.
and we became very good. We're still good friends to this day.
Do they still do that?
Share offices?
Yeah.
Yes.
Good. Because I thought that was cool. I shared an office with Bill Hall, and it was just some of the best memories when some people want their own, but it was just great.
And then they've moved everybody from the second floor to the council to the first floor, and there's 7 of them, so they're pretty well packed in.
Yeah. And then we had a door, and that was where Mita Nash's office was. So when you came straight up the stairs and you went there, that first office, that was ours, and then the one over was
It's Mita.
Mita, and then the next one was Joe and Donna, and then the very back one was where Rick Weldon was.
Okay.
Yep.
Yep. I was
So-
in that back office for 16 years.
Yeah. So what were some of your proudest accomplishments and moments? 16 years of serving as alderman.
Well,
I mean, does anything jump out?
sure, of course. I mean, one of the areas of advocacy that I got really engaged in, it was sort of it kind of happened by mistake, but it was a happy mistake, was that I got involved in cycling advocacy and connectivity. And that happened because I wanted to be on the Public Art Commission, and that was given to somebody else. And Randy said, Well, I'll tell you what, you can be on this bicycle advisory committee. And there were some folks that had come to us and said, we would like Frederick to work on becoming a certified bicycle-friendly community through the League of American Bicyclists. And I got to be a part of that initiative, and we got our certification, and we've done lots and lots of work since then to make Frederick more pedestrian and bicycle friendly and safer. Still got many things to do, but we've made a lot of progress. So I'm very proud of that. When that picture of that group comes up, I want to talk about that a little bit.
Okay.
What's the picture?
I also want to know what that bridge is.
That one?
This
The
group?
bridge. Yes, that group. So we talked earlier about the fact that I'd spent some time in homelessness, and this group here was involved in as the Met, the Maryland Ensemble Theater, did a production called Life Without the Ruby Slippers. It was done with a mixture of people from the theater and also people that live in the community that were experiencing homelessness, and put together this show. And it was supposed to run for 3 shows. We ended up doing 5 over the course of a weekend. And there were stories. They told the stories, and there was music to sort of share people that lived in Frederick, what their experiences were. And it was a really moving experience for me to be a part of. One of the monologues was my story. And that we were seeing there is the cast.
How long was that monologue? We should have made you do it tonight.
No, it was just I did it. It was my story about the sailors and all that good stuff. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But it was a very moving experience. And I think it really enlightened a lot of people in the community as to, the humans. We're all humans here. And
question.
Absolutely.
What was the picture of the bridge?
That is the undercrossing that goes under.
Oh,
yeah.
Over by Sheets.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sheets on Rosemont.
Yeah.
Yeah. They get underneath
that.
So it goes, from Rosemont, it goes underneath Route 15 and comes out in Waterford Park and connects that shared use path that before that was completely disconnected. You couldn't get there from here. And so that was a project. Tim Davis spearheaded that. He was our transportation planner. Mm-hmm. And that was something that I had to fight during a budget to get funding for. And
it was like $1.5 million or something.
It wasn't cheap.
No, but we had money in the fund balance. Yep. And now Senator Karen Lewis Young wanted to spend some of it one way, and I wanted to spend some of it that way. And we came to a compromise, and that was built in a weekend.
Yeah.
In a weekend?
In a weekend. They actually shut down the ramp. They took the ramp out. They dug down, put conduits in, and put the ramp back on top of it.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
because it's interesting, you're like between Route 15 on Rosemont Avenue and this tunnel, and you go down the hill and you go through this tunnel and you're in a park.
Yep.
It's like Alice in Wonderland or something.
It is.
It's really cool. I've gone through it 1,000 times.
And I give kudos to my friend Ginny Brace, who was for years president of the Friends of Waterford Park. The community in that area has worked to help beautify that park, and it is wonderful.
Well, and the other thing in that park, and I've always said they should do this in a lot of other parks, is they like put a description of the flowers or the trees or whatever.
That is the Friends of Waterford Park.
Is that
that's been initiated and funded by these community members who think that's really important. Mm-hmm.
If you've never gone through that tunnel and been in that park, it's something you have to do.
What's the picture with the torch?
So that was a Special Olympics torch run. Yeah, so this is an initiative that was started, many, many, many years ago by someplace out west, but it's an initiative where the police run with a torch and raise money for Special Olympics. And so it's a partnership with Special Olympics and law enforcement. I chaired that committee for a long time, and that is a picture of one of the very first ones we did, running down Route 40 with traffic, carrying that torch. But that's an event. It's changed over the years. We used to run actually from the Washington County line to the Carroll County line. We would relay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was long.
That's a long run.
But now it's more of like a fun run that we do in the park.
Mm-hmm.
So now you're done being alderman. You changed the charter. We no longer have alderman. We got city council. Mm-hmm. What's next? First of all, you're not that old. How old are you? 64, 62, 60?
You can't ask a lady that.
No, wait a second. Hold on. Let me do the math.
I just told you.
Wait a second. If you're 23, you did 22, that'd be 55, 16 years. Can't be 62, 63.
I'll be 67 in August.
Oh, shit. Sorry.
But that's still
Thank
young.
you. Thanks for guessing younger. Now, that picture, that's me holding, that is at the wall breaking ceremony of the new police headquarters, which I have to say, a big, huge accomplishment because we've been trying to get that done for 30, 40 years. What I'm holding there is what we used to use when you got arrested and processed. You hand dialed like the date and the arrest number, and you hung that on a chain around your arrestee, took a mugshot of it.
So that's the thing.
That's
it. That's what you put around your neck.
I have that at home.
Wow, that's cool. What an interesting piece of history.
It was thrown when they moved and modernized some things. It just got thrown out, and I found it one day. I'm like, oh, I'm keeping that. That's a cool souvenir.
Absolutely.
So what's up? What's up next? You're not that old. 67. You gonna run for office again? You think?
Absolutely not.
Really? Why so definite? I mean, I'm the same way. I'm definite. People say to me, I'm like, I wouldn't. No.
I love service.
Yeah.
I love helping my community. I got to do that job for 16 years. I was blessed to do it. Things have changed, and at the point where I am in my life, I just don't really have the energy level to wrangle a whole new process with people that are, learning and coming in. I think it's admirable, but that's not where my energy is anymore.
So where's your energy?
My energy right now is in my garden and in my home.
Okay.
And reading, listening.
And I'm sure you got a cat or two.
I have 2 cats. I have an 18-year-old diabetic cat whose name is Romeo, and I have a 14-year-old non-diabetic cat, healthy, and his name is Willoughby.
All right.
And those are my boys.
And then you plan on staying here in Frederick and
Yes.
retiring? Well, you are retired.
I am
but,
retired.
And your golden years.
My golden
And
years.
you've always been a gardener, right?
No, let me tell you this story. So this is really cool. I was not a gardener, but when I moved to the house where I am now, it's been 22 years in that house now, but there was a family that moved in, and they had a son named Evan, who was 4 years old. And my house backs up to an alley, so we sort of see each other. Everybody sees each other in the alley. And Evan came down one day and said, Miss Kelly, do you think we could grow a tomato plant? And I said, well, sure, Evan, we can grow a tomato plant. I found some scrap wood. I made a little raised bed. We had a couple of tomato plants. It was a raving success. I called it Evan's Garden.
Mm-hmm.
The next year, Evan got a sister, Ava.
Mm-hmm.
And so we had to build a second bed. And then it was Evan and Ava's garden. And we started putting different varieties in. Of course, they helped plant and water and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
And then there were some more kids that moved in the neighborhood, and the garden sort of took over, and I started loving just it.
Yeah.
And so now I have all of these raised beds. It's no longer named after any kids. It's the Children's Victory Garden.
There you go.
Oh,
We
cool.
changed, yeah. So it was a product of a young man who is now 16, who's hoping to go to the Naval Academy.
Nice.
He's a licensed pilot at 16. He's a very accomplished young man. And if it weren't for Evan and his tomato desires, I would not have my garden, my Zen place.
That's cool. Great story.
All right. Anything else you want to add before we wrap it up?
What do you want to say, to the citizens of Frederick?
Thank you. Thank you for embracing me as a non-native Frederictonian. This is my home. I've grown up here. I got here as a very young person. I've been blessed to live in this fantastic community, and I never want to leave. And I've been fortunate to know a whole variety of people and things, and watch history happen. And it's just a great community, and I love it, and I'm grateful.
All right. Well, I thank you for being the first woman on the last of the Good Ole Boys.
But not the last.
Not the last.
Not the last.
Not the last. But
Great.
I'm glad I picked that up before you pointed it out, because I thought about that. I thought about it today, and I'm like, I said, we haven't had it. So that's it. You're a barrier breaker. What they say, you broke
One more wall broken
the
down.
ceiling, the glass ceiling or whatever. So I want to thank you very much for your service to our community, and thank you for coming on and sharing your story.
It's been my pleasure. Thank you.
All right. And that wraps it up for the last of the Good Ole Boys. I'm your host, Blaine Young, and Billy Shreve, and we will talk to you next week. Every Wednesday at 6 p.m. we're live, and everyone have a wonderful night.
That's this week's conversation on the last of the Good Ole Boys. Join the discussion, drop your questions and comments, and be part of the conversation. Catch us live Wednesdays at 6 p.m. on the Everything Frederick Live YouTube channel.
This episode is a proud production of the Everything Frederick Live Podcast Network. Your home for Frederick's best podcasts, streaming daily on YouTube.